I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up the USA view. Study claims New York Times coverage fueled political controversy over trans rights. A new analysis by civil rights attorney Alejandra Caraballo claims that changes in how the New York Times has covered transgender issues helped fuel political controversy over trans rights in the United States. Published in the Dissident, the study examined over 3,200 New York Times articles published between 2014 and 2026. Caraballo said that she used the newspaper's public database and archived articles, then analyzed them with 3 AI models to identify patterns in framing, tone, and sourcing. According to the analysis, coverage shifted over time with less protective framing, fewer transgender voices, more emphasis on controversy, and greater focus on medical issues. Caraballo identified a turning point between 2018 and 2022, arguing that reporting increasingly moved away from rights-based coverage and towards stories questioning gender-affirming care. She also argued that legislation affecting transgender people received less prominent coverage by the New York Times than stories debating gender-affirming care. The New York Times has rejected claims that its reporting is anti-trans or biased. Well, there's a lot to look at there. One of the things that I would say is, certainly, unfortunately, our society gravitates towards controversy. Whether you support trans or not, advertisers, certainly if they're out there, they're going to want to go where people are reading those articles with controversy, whether you're reading the New York Times, which is maybe a little more intellectually viable versus maybe the New York Post. Still, the advertisers are going to look and say, what do they have going on generally? And unfortunately, the heartfelt, introspective stories about struggle and things like that don't sell advertising. And that's what the bottom line is.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I don't think that they're trying to be anti-trans or anything, but
no,
they're publishing the stories that will garner readers. And unfortunately, we live in a Real Housewives world, and people want salacious stories.
Yes.
So it's not that the stories that they're posting and publishing are not true.
No,
they're just only focusing on one part of the story.
Absolutely.
We've seen a lot of some of the news channels. I can't remember who they were, but where they had actually did an uptick in reporting on trans stories, where it was like so much more than anything else that they reported on. And I can't only help to think that when that happens, that creates more articles, that creates more stories out there for other people to pick up and follow. And I think it's a trickle-down theory.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that I think that also, if you look at it, especially when you're looking at the dates, the political rhetoric around transgender was already starting. Mm-hmm. So then the news cycle then follows that. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, there's not a news source on the planet typically that's not biased. We are biased by nature as humans, unfortunately. And that's just the fact. That is a fact that we are all biased by nature. So the fact that the political, in politics, it started to become a thing, then the news story, and then, as you said, it's a trickle-down effect. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's the chicken, what came first, the chicken or the egg. I think this is a systemic problem that has happened because of the rhetoric and the policies and stuff that we started seeing. And then it was just a steamroll from there. Mm-hmm. Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.